Good evening. Welcome back to Matters for Life reality talk show. This is your host. My name is called SaneGrace Unlimited Edition. I'm known as a transformational life coach, a keynote speaker, a leadership strategist, and also a podcaster. What a beautiful Wednesday. We are here with another amazing episode. As you know, that Matters for Life, this is a great platform where we discuss realistic matters that are affecting the society and also the lives of individuals. It's really a great honor every time if we know that every Wednesday we are here to equip and transform lives. And once again, I just want to say Happy New Month. Happy New Month. I believe that you are so excited. You can't wait to travel. And despite this COVID variant that is just all over the place, I know you are kept by the grace of God. I know every time, just know that whatever that is happening in our lives, and for you to be where you are, the grace of God is not by might, not by power, but it is by the Spirit of the Lord. So yes, I'm happy, as you know, that every day, every Wednesday, this is what I say, that I'm happy. When I say I'm happy, I really, really do. I really, really do. So yes, guys, what's up? What is happening? What is happening wherever you are? You're watching me all the way from Johannesburg, Doelfontein. This is your lady. My name is called SaneGrace. Those who don't know me, I'm a transformational life coach, a keynote speaker, a leadership strategist, and also a podcaster. I'm about to publish my first book. It's called The Shadow of My Background, dedicated to young and vigilant generation. Yeah, so this is me in a nutshell. As you know, that Matters for Life reality talk show is not only a monologue, but it's a dialogue whereby I'm expecting you to respond. I want to know your views. What are you thinking? What is in your mind? So yes, I really love to hear from you. I love your comments. I love your views. They just keep me going each and every time, each and every second. If I'm thinking like, okay, you are saying something, it just gives me that boom, you know. So guys, I love to hear your comments. Please, if you are with us tonight, please tell me where you are watching me from. Tell me where you are watching me from. I just want to welcome you to the studio and to this power-packed, it's a controversial episode. I'm telling you, it's going to be a controversial conversation, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Please let me know where you are watching us from, where you have joined us from. You have joined us from Zimbabwe, you have joined us from Tanzania, America, Australia. I'm just so expected. Well, I say that don't forget to share the broadcast, because whatever we discuss here is very important. We believe in bringing hope in the society wherever you are watching us from. We believe in empowering people. So that's why we are here. Yes. So yes, I'm seeing people. We have joined us tonight. But please, I want to know where you are watching us from. I want to know where you are watching us from. Yes, last week we really had an amazing episode, Build Your Legacy, Build Your Legacy. And those who were here tuned in, they can testify with me that the episode, the conversation was really, 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 really amazing and so empowering. Guys, I'm telling you, also have a YouTube channel right now, Matters for Life YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, share with your partners, share with your friends, share with your neighbors. We believe in being hope linkers. Be a hope linker wherever you are, because there is a man, there is a woman who need a word of encouragement in this season. So we are here tonight with another amazing episode. And I'm not alone in the studio. I'm here with an amazing inspiration, amazing leader, all the way from Zimbabwe, Coach Khaled. We just want to say we welcome you to Matters for Life reality talk show. Please, can you greet people and tell people who is Coach Khaled tonight?
Thank you so much for having me, Coach Grace and SaneGrace. I'm very thrilled and honored and humbled to be part of this movement that you have created. Without wasting much of your time, my name is Coach Carl Masoswa. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm an award-winning certified life coach and mentor. I'm a transformational speaker, and I'm a published writer as well. I write in the local magazine newspapers that we have here in Zimbabwe, and I also write for other publications as well that have to do with the youth, that have to do with transformational, how to live a transformed life. And I'm also a Toastmaster. So when you are hearing my voice today, you actually hear that this person is representing Toastmasters from Zimbabwe. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, and I do hope that we have a great time together.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm really so excited, and also it's a great honor to host you, to host as a leader like you in this platform, as we are sharing a very, very important message tonight. I believe that those who saw the poster, there was something that was provoked inside of them. Is the education offered in Africa still relevant? This is something I want to say. One thing as a visionary, one thing as a leader, I said this platform matters for life. This platform want to discuss realistic matters that are affecting the society and also the lives of individuals. What I'm trying to say is we always say we are speaking hard conversations, because these kind of conversations they seem so neglected in the society, but they have so much impact in our lives, in our day-to-day activities. That's why we are here to speak about this episode. So above everything, I'm not also alone in the studio. I'm joined by this beautiful lady, and Dando. She's a student she's a student at UNISA. It's University of South Africa. University of South Africa. She's studying psychology. So we thought it's gonna be wise to also host her in the studio to share her views with us and the audience, to hear from her as a student who's currently studying. So I believe it's gonna be an amazing episode. And please don't forget to share the broadcast. This is very important. Sometimes one thing that I've realized that most of the people, they shy away from the tools that can actually help them, that against change, that against transformation. But what I'm trying to say here is that we are not here to criticize you. We are not here to put a burden in your heart to say, why are you studying Africa? But we are here to impose something that is very important, that will open your eye as a South African, as an African student, as a African student as a whole, right? So thank you so much. I'm seeing trust. So all the way connected, all the way from Devon. I just want to say thank you so much, Say, for connecting tonight. And also don't forget to share the broadcast. Don't forget to share the broadcast as we are starting. From my beautiful lady, I just want to understand something, Dando. It's what does it mean to you being an African student? Please talk to us. Tell us, what does it mean to you being an African student?
Well, firstly, I'll just touch on the grounds of it's an opportunity, a great opportunity. Yes. I mean, I get to study what I've always wanted to study, regardless of me doing it in Africa and all of that. I mean, it's where I grew up and all of that. I never thought of leaving the country if it's through my studies and anything. It's an honor. It's a pleasant opportunity.
I love that. She said it's really a great honor to study in Africa. The reason why I just want to add on what she said. The reason why say it's a great honor is because most time we can't run away that in Africa we are disadvantaged, and most of the kids, if you check the statistics, most of the kids are not going to school as much they desire to go to school. So one of the things that we really need to value is that it's a great honor to study in Africa, especially if you have that opportunity to study. If you have that opportunity to study, it's a great honor. So yes, I'm really happy. I believe we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. So from you, Coach Kali, what does this episode mean to you as a coach? What spark came to your mind when you saw, like, is the education offered in Africa still relevant? What came in your mind? What was the first thing that came in your mind to say, oh wow, okay, I think we can do this?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Well, when you sent the poster to me, a myriad of or a plethora of issues were coming into my mind to say if SaneGrace said we should discuss about whether the education offered in Africa is relevant. What I thought about what I studied in mostly in primary school, where I was coming from, from infancy, and I was exposed to books. So this conversation made me think about how the education that is offered now or today, whether how is it possible in molding and in encouraging everyone that goes into the school system, are they bringing out skills that are relevant to the market? Are we as a generation, are we as Africa bringing out that niche, or that there's a certain kind of breed or certain kind of caliber that you see that this person came from from school or studied something. So when I got into to introspect about my life and introspect about my country, how it is offered and how it is revolutionized the education system, how the paradigm shift. I thought of everything basically, how we colonized, how how Africa is a whole. I even thought of Musilikazi, uh, just to yes, just to cut the long story short, just to say what was in his mind when he was doing it, when he was heading Kurto, when he was being a leader. What was the aspect that led him to do that? So these are some of the things that came into my mind, and I'm really expectant of what you will discuss today, because I think one or two, three individuals in this live or joining in this live would get to have some views or some reflections that, oh wow, is this really happening in Africa? So thank you so much for bringing this topic.
Thank you so much, sir. It's really a great honor to. One thing that I love. One thing that it has been my desire as a life coach, as a leader, that we need to raise a generation of smart thinkers. Smart thinkers. I love the fact that the moment when you saw the episode or the title of the episode, you have to think back, to say, okay, to go back to the basics, to say, all right, our elders, our grandparents, what was the driving force? What was the driving force? So it's really a great honor that in our generation we have people like you who are smart thinkers. When you are a smart thinker, the only thing that you are thinking in your mind, the only thing that comes in your mind is to bring solutions on the table. So one of the things that I want to discuss tonight is to bring solutions on the table, or tools that can actually help somebody who is a student or who is planning to study in Africa. So I believe it's going to be a great conversation. Okay, so coach, me as a life coach, apart from hosting the reality talk show every Wednesday, one of the things that I really do before I host something or before I come up with an episode, I research. I give myself some time to research, so that the moment when we come here, we don't come to blame, we come to empower. We are so radical for change. We're standing here as solution givers. So one thing that really came to my mind, what has been affecting our society is because we want everything to be complicated. If you want to, for example, you say, let us define education. You want to go to the dictionary and come up with a long statement with so many words that you as an individual don't understand, but you want to bring on the table to say, okay, this is what education is all about. But me as a leader, I said, we need to get to a point whereby we come with new formulas, we come with new systems that there are some people that we have been learning from. But what, as a generation, what tools are we bringing on the table that even when our generation passes, we are going to be used as a point of reference to say there was a man called Coach Kali. He came with this system and it's really working out. So I thought to myself, okay, tonight we want to speak about education. But what is education? what is education all about? So one thing that came to me as I was studying, as I was researching, is that education is gathering of formulas. Education is gathering of formulas for productivity. I hope someone who is connected tonight, we are sharing our views with Dando, with Coach Kali, and we also want you to join and share your view also, so that at the end of the day, the session is going to be amazing and so empowering. So one thing that came to my mind is let us define education. Let us define education. Let us go to the best. Let us define education. And as I said, education is gathering of formulas. Formulas for what? For productivity. Gathering formulas for productivity. So, meaning we cannot be productive if we are not producing results. We cannot be productive as if you are not producing results. So, this is one of the things that came to my mind, and then that's why I provoked a question to say, is the education offered in Africa still relevant? So, Coach Kali, I've said my part. I think someone will capture this reality. If you don't understand, you can watch again so that you can grasp and capture what we are trying to say tonight. So, Coach Kali, tell us about the education in Africa. Tell us what is in your mind. Is the education offered in Africa still relevant? You state your views. Please share your mind. We want to know what is in your mind, what you want to share with us tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach SaneGrace. Well, before I dwell into the specific, I just want to share where the word education came from. So it came from two words, Latin words, educare, which means to draw out, and educare, which means to develop. So in actual fact, when you are talking about education as a word, it's just as you were saying that it's it's sort of like a learning a cave where an individual is exposed to, and they have these certain skills or these certain attributes that help them to mold them to become a person that maybe these skills that they've been taught to be. So in actual fact, you can just think about when our forefathers were here. They were herding cattle. They were digging the land, and they were doing everything so that they could have a sustainable means of livelihood. So in actual fact, that's education for you. And how this term came to be um, when we colonized. I'm sorry to say if anyone is offended, but I'll just be blunt as much as possible. So when this when we were colonized, the imperial system or the colonizers had a certain way that they wanted the Africans or the black people to think. That's when they came up with this education system. So the education system is meant for the African people to to work in a more civilized manner. That's where they actually came with these tools and materials where we studied, and we actually, when we about maybe we go into a period of time, maybe about 3 months or a year, that's when he came with these skills, and these skills meant to assist um, maybe an industrialist or any person that was doing any means of trade that would actually empower or benefit out of that. Now, when you come to Africa, in terms of how the education system is it's sort of like it's sort of like it was meant for it was meant for people like us who went into the system to remember this education system that is now that we sort of like are proud of, to so to say. It is not based for us to be critical thinkers, for us to be entrepreneurs, for us to be members of the societies that comes
Yes.
up with ideas that can sustain our society. We were only sort of like molded to be uh, re, uh, be remembers of ideas, of concepts, of thoughts. Come to think
Yeah.
of it, when you were in primary or in secondary school, you actually learned that a leaf is supposed to be exposed to the sun in order for the chlorophyll or for the chlorophyll or the food to be manufactured in that plant so that it can grow. But come to think of it, why were we learning that? Why were we learning that? In as much as I want to disapprove that concept, it's sort of like I'm inclined to say to remember those things. In as much as I want to allude to the fact that we're given these thoughts and ideas, and what we just did is to remember. And once an exam came, we were just throwing off those things that you learned, and in effect, in a moment, you spend the whole night cramming, studying those things, and you just brought them to that. And now they gave us a certain grade. You have a grade A, grade B, grade C, grade D. That actually meant for people to remember thoughts. Um, as I was reading a particular thought of
Yeah.
Julius Nyerere in 1967, he was pondering on this thought that why did the European system of learning that we are learning today has to be sort of like distanced from theory and practice. Like if you happen to go through whether videos or books, you find that we as Africans, we tend to have more of theoretical things in our heads that we sort of like reproduce, so to say. In as much as I want to support my country, but my country is rated, I think, one of the most like it is a high literacy rate in Africa. But come to think of it, now in terms of idea implementation and business creation, and bringing out that caliber, that richness in terms of like bringing social economic growth, and growth in terms of like how we live, in terms of how everything, how it goes out. You barely notice that you are not even making you're making a sustainable improvement in terms of our GDP, in terms of the people that you are churning out of universities. So in
Yeah.
Africa as a whole, you tend to notice that this same trend, although there have been certain structures that have been put in place in order to in order to just avoid or evade that. So you can just be wondering right now that why some of our schools offer mathematics, science, whether it's sociology or psychology or accounting, or all these subjects in foreign languages. You can just incline your mind to the fact that the European system wanted us to have the same belief, the same attitude to what they were experiencing. I think there's no clear definition or a clear reflection where we have our own languages in all these subjects that tend us. When you are an African, you have to take pride in saying, I come from Africa. I have heard these things being practiced, and when you go out there, it's it's making you to go. Once you study, you now think that in America or in Asia or wherever, there are better opportunities out there, but you are not thinking of your own country, whether you are living, what will happen to it at the end of the day. Of course, I believe that there are certain economic or political struggles or something that is happening that tend to lure you to go out there. So I think these are some of the things, or these are some of the issues that we are dealing with right now. That as Africans, we need to change our motive. We need to change our narrative. We need to set the paradigm shift to say we are changing the way that our forefathers did. Of course, we might have learned a little bit about chlorophyll. I understand that chlorophyll helps a plant to grow, but that doesn't mean I have to end there. I have to have critical skills that will help me, that will assist me to become a better person in the end and improve my nation and the global world as a whole.
Wow. This is really incredible. This is really amazing. I just want to welcome Sylvia Mugwena. all the way from Might Valley, Savannah City. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And also, don't forget to share broadcast. And also, I just want to welcome BK Anderson. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And also, don't forget to share the broadcast. Coach Kali, you were sharing really amazing points that, and like why were we really studying about Europe? So to do it for what? Because one thing that I've realized is that we in Africa, it's good to be a student, it's good to study in Africa, but we have been given the information, but we have never been told what makes the information. We have never been told what makes the information. I'll say that again. We have been given the information, but we have never been taught what makes the information. Because only thing, if I'm a science student, I'm taught about the reaction of elements. There's a periodic table. You are learning about the elements, the reaction of elements. Like the only thing that I'm just thinking when I'm writing the exam, I just have to grasp the information. I just have to write and pass it. Then what? Because if you are gathering the formulas, which means at the end of the day you need to produce. But one thing that is really affecting us is the African students that are studying in African institutions, because we really have the information, but we have never been taught what makes the information. That's why it's very difficult for each and every student, even if you're a science student, to at the end of the day to stand there and produce something. So yes, I'm really happy about the conversation. I believe it's going to help a lot of people. So Coach Kali, please tell us, as we are talking about, is the education offered in Africa still relevant? So we want to know that how is the traditional way of learning, because I just feel the education, it has never changed so far, especially in Africa. It's just the same pattern. It's either they're introducing a new curriculum, but to change, to say, okay, there's a paradigm shift or a revolution in education, that totally this is something new that we have never seen before, that it just provoke each and every student, each and every one in the world or in Africa as a continent to move from the comfort zone. So please tell us, how has the traditional way of learning affected the African students?
Okay. I want to point out the fact that one of the things that our education in Africa is not in a way relevant to what we want to do in life and how we want to um, kind of bring it out in a way. The first thing that I would want to say is the language that is used in terms of bringing out this material. Of
Right.
course, I know we're colonized by by the British, sometimes by
Yeah.
the French, by the French, and in the times by the Germany. So what you notice is when you go to a certain university or a certain high school, um,
Yes.
of course, the languages that are used are English, Portuguese, or French. In a way, if you are using those languages, it means that me myself, if I'm Zimbabwean, of course we use Shona, we use Isindebele, and we have all other 13 languages that are there, but they are not primarily used. The main focus or the main emphasis is pushed on English. For me, I believe that it's a ridiculous way. It's a ridiculous kind of thing for one to be saying that we need to use English language as a means of communicating with each other if we are locally in Zimbabwe. For instance,
Yeah.
if you are bound to um, like an infant, for instance, in he or she is in primary school, and you are subjecting that child to a lot of stress, saying you must learn English. How come your English is not good? How are you, pronouncing your words? Like at times we failed to even pronounce government, for instance, and I, I did not understand why everyone laughed at us when we sort of pronunciated or pronounced government in the wrong manner. So in a way, it makes us feel we are inferior. It makes
All
us
right.
feel that our culture is useless. And
Mm,
when you feel like your culture is useless in a manner, that means when you are studying at a high school, whether it's government school, it's a private school, that means your beliefs and attitude is inclined to a certain culture. That means, of course, Coach Sunny Grace now wants to be, he wants to be white. He's eating all classy. He's wearing this classy, classy clothes, and she's saying that when I want to grow up, I want to be a doctor, and I just want to live in the States. Maybe buy a duplex. Buy a Ferrari. There's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that. But in Africa, the ideology has been to give us information, but not produce something out of that information that we're given. For instance, we can just say, look at the production of cars. Is there any black person that that he has actually invented a car that we can
that,
say this car is
that,
we can drive it? Of course, I know a few that you've actually worked
yeah,
in that line of thought, and they've come up with something, and
yeah,
they've produced something. As we go on further, maybe you can just relate to the story of the boy that harnessed the wind.
yeah,
That
yeah,
it's something that we need to embrace as Africa. That we need to create our own ideologies. We need to create our own ideas. Because if you look at it, the institutionalization that is happening right now is we tend to have a relationship between the um, Western academics and in the African academics. For instance, if you are studying sociology, you'd want to maybe you want to go to America or UK, so that you can create that model that exists between you and the Western guys. There's no like interaction between our own universities. For instance, I've never heard someone saying that. Of course, I've studied a certain craft, and I want to impact people in a certain manner in Africa, on Africa University. So on its own, that means the African education system is Eurocentric. That means the value and the attitude that we have is
yes,
inclined at there. But of course, there are certain things that I noticed in a way as I was going through this research. Not to say I was just curious what was really happening in structuring this education system. Of course, as Africans, tell you what, we have resources, we have diamonds, we have agriculture, we have everything that we need. And if you are to look at it, I think most of the times the programs that we are doing right here in Africa are more of like, they are not resource based, but they are sort of they are soft skills, so to say. So you find someone saying that lived in the ghetto, or lived in a township setup, saying that I want to go to live in a township. And you know what?
yes, sir.
Living in the rural areas, of course, that's where the resources are. And I don't know why, you know the Western people now, when they come to Africa, they are
Yeah,
there to extract that resources that we neglect so much, that we say to ourselves, we would rather go to UK because we want to live a lavish life, or a luxury life. But come to think of it, we have resources that we are sitting on right now, that in a matter of seconds, if we are to structure resources and implement ideas, to say we are having a university that is
yes,
going to offer degrees in resource based degrees, whether it's agriculture, whether it's fishing, whether it's mining, whether it's geopology, whatsoever. So I think for us, we need to realize that not going there is actually bringing us a lot of fruit, but we are sitting on our resources, we are sitting on our materials as we are speaking right now. and we think that we know it all. And this generation, we believe that we know it all. But in a way, if you are to introspect where we came from, of course, I'm proud to be African. I'm proud to be Zimbabwe. One of the things that I usually argue with my aunt, if she's watching right now, auntie, I'll run away. But she always says that you come to UK, you can live a better life there. You can make a lot of money. Now I'm thinking, if I leave this place in order to pursue what she wants me to pursue, that means the resources that I would have left here, they would be unattended, and someone who actually benefit out of that. Why can't I just extract those resources and make use of them, and make my country better and make my country what it is? Of course, I know there are certain elements that I need to improve as we go, but I think these are some of the things that make African kind of learning irrelevant in a way.
Wow. I'm so much inspired. I just want to read a comment from BK Anderson. She's saying for the who, I think we are taught to be employers and never leaders, taught how to be nuns, a doctor, and never a CEO. Learning but not knowing what to do with it. That's very powerful. That is very true. Because like the moment I said education is gathering of formulas, which means if I have a formula at the end of the day, I need to produce. But one thing that has been attacking us as African people is that we have the information. We have the information. We have the formulas, but we don't know how to be productive or how to bring something out of of the information that we have. So it's a great honor that tonight we are discussing this kind of information with you, everyone who's watching. I just want to say, don't forget to share the broadcast. So, Coach Kali, I want to understand something. Is that do we see a future right now where we are as African students, as African people? Do we see future? Is the future promising? Because we are seeing that there's so much change in the society, there's so much change in the world, there's introduction of new systems, of new channels of learning all over the world, that the moment if we as African people, we don't adapt to that system of learning, at the end of the day we'll be holding degrees, PhDs, masters, but at the end of the day at the end of the day we are irrelevant to the society. So I want to ask you as the coach that do you see us improving, or is the future promising for African students if we do not adapt to the new system of learning?
Yes, I think there's a future for African students, or
Okay.
for Africa as a whole. Why do I say that? One of the things, or one of the reasons I became a life coach is that I grew up in a society where I used to see people getting wasted, people abusing sort of drugs, people doing things that I wanted to distance myself from. So I believe as a society, it's possible that we can change the narrative. But what one thing that may hold us in terms of getting there is because the things that we are learning, it's we have to remember.
All right.
That's one aspect. We have to say, of course, yesterday, what did I read? I think I read that, you know, Zulu was a king, something like that. So when we are asked, we are forced to just give that
Yeah.
certain school of thought. But
Yeah.
if our education system forces us to be thinkers, forces us to have a certain shift in our mindset, in
Yes.
a way, if someone is maybe in the 6 years or 7 years, if they studied, we say, what is this person, how is what interests this person, what is he or she passionate about? And if you are able to actually mold that passion whilst they are very young. They can become something. And one thing that we have to look at, or we have to consider, is that this system that we have right now is um is in a way made for Africans to be ordinary, not extraordinary. Of course, if a very few can be extraordinary, but the chunk has to remain employees, has to remain those individuals that when you say to yourself, you look at this doctor. Of course, when you come to think of it, a doctor learns how to prescribe drugs and learns how to um, say this person is suffering from this, and if you can give them a ceftriaxone or a diclofenac or an antibiotic, they'll be okay. But we are never taught how to make medicines ourselves. Like you can look at it, how if you are look at it, how a herbal doctor prescribes plants, herbs to you. How does he know all those things, that this herb will make you feel good or make you feel better when you are actually sick? I think we need to develop that mentality in learning how our forefathers did everything, how they even shaped all kinds of tools, and how they made their bow and arrows to even when they went to hunt. How did they that certain thought, how did it come to mind? So I think once we embrace that as a society, I think that's when we will be able to level up. Of course, the economy, the world is changing. They say that we are bound to enter into a fourth industrial revolution, where everything will be based online. You would have more of technology. That means all these jobs, all these careers that we have, it means most, not if all, will be absolute. Will be will be irrelevant, will be redundant. So as a school of thought, we need to realize that, as a marketing student, do not tell me that a banner, or something that if I want to market something, I have to use a newspaper, whatnot. Let's dwell much on on the online spaces that are here right now. Let
Yeah.
us a- actually come up with ideas and say, there's a new way of doing it now. we I feel so sad for the generation that is coming, because they don't have that that knowledge to grasp things, because now they are living in an instant world, a flashy life, where they want to be celebs without working, without even putting the effort. And now, and they're coming in a system where there's this system which is meant to brainwash us, to brainwash the ideas and thoughts that we have in our mind. So once we come to a point where we realize that we need to be proud of our of ourselves, or of where we came from, we get to use the languages that we have. We get to have in an integration of um that traditional way that we our forefathers did, and this system that we have, the European system. Of course, I think there are a few things that we can actually take from there that can assist us and build us to where we want to be. So I believe that these are some of the things that we can actually take into
Wow.
perspective.
Wow, this is amazing. This is really amazing stuff. I just want to say thank you so much for commenting. I love to hear your views. I love to hear comments. They keep us going. Is we are just having this conversation, and I believe that there is a woman, there is a man who is learning something that is really going to transform their lives. So I want to understand something, because I just feel, because of COVID-19, according to my, the way I'm analyzing things and analyzing the whole thing of COVID-19, I just feel, me as an individual, me as a coach, that it really played a huge role, especially in education, in education in Africa. Why I am saying that is because I just feel that it really became a catalyst, because the only thing that we know as African students is that I have to just go there in the class, there's a lecture, to teach me, to educate me. Now, because of COVID-19 restrictions, I have to go back home at the comfort of my home and try by all means to find a way to learn online. So, you as a coach, Kali, please tell us what impact does that did COVID-19 brought in the society? Oh, for example, in Africa, uh, when it comes to education part, because I just feel now we are provoked to move from our comfort zone.
Mhm. Yes. Thank you very much for that question.
That's it.
That's where Yes, the COVID-19, I think it was an important aspect that we needed to have at some point in our lives, where we were used to having physical meetings, where we were used to doing things physically, where we were used to doing things in a way that we're inclined to a certain standard of way of doing things. Of course, I think COVID-19 was just something else for our elders, or I think for the elderly, that were not actually well versed with how to interact and how to actually host classes online. But for me, I think for me, I was lucky. I got to know of all these media sites before this happened. So for me, I sort of like embraced it, because I think as the generation generation Z, we are more adaptable. We can easily adjust to technology. But for our older folks, I think it was a challenge, where you used to have a certain types of materials, maybe for a class, for maybe you were teaching law, and you were used to, you know maybe writing on the board, or reading out notes, or having maybe notes on a projector. Now you sort of like had to give students to read the information for themselves. And now
Yeah,
I think that's an interesting part of technology, and part of in an interesting time that we are in. We actually, we as Africans, I think we need to be ready for anything, because if you think about it, we're not ready at all in terms of the resources. We were just a little bit behind, and catching up, it was a bit of a struggle. And I can recall, or I can remember a certain point where we wanted to do a presentation, and that presentation didn't like go the way that we expected, because this lecture was more of like, I'm used to having you around, guys. So if I don't see someone like on joining the chat, or joining the interaction, we believe that I will tend to have these confusions. But I believe that the
yeah,
COVID-19, what it brought, of course, it meant us to be or live in a certain way, or see something in a certain manner that we didn't know, we didn't know how, or we didn't know existed. So that I believe that that's the same thing that we need to embrace in this education, or in Africa, where we need to have this curious mind, or to have like a curious attitude in designing our curriculum, in designing the certain modules that we have. That, what if this don't work? What can we do? What if this um doesn't like come out in the manner that we want? Do we stop here, or we want to go further, or we say, we are stuck and we do not know how to do? What do we do? So I think it's a point of reflection. It's a point of looking where, as Africans, is saying that if we are to have this new norm, what are we going to do? Are there certain is there certain contingency plan that we have in place, that if it doesn't work, what will it do? I think that are some of the things that, when we actually look at it, there's nothing like that. We are just learning, 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 learning. And if this doesn't go, that means we just have to stop there. So I think that has to improve.
Mm, wow. This is, I'm really, as an individual, I'm really learning a lot from what you're saying, Coach. But I would just want to encourage everyone who was tuned in tonight and those who are going to follow that we have a mandate as individuals. We have a mandate because we are people that make up the world. We are people that make up the Africa. So we have a mandate to build the Africa that we need. How? That we need to adapt to the new way of doing things. And no, change is not easy, Coach. Change is not easy. To adapt, transformation is not easy. It takes so much uh, effort, for you to be focused, for you to be disciplined. But one thing that I can tell you, wherever you're watching us from, that we can do it. And another thing that I just want to say, Coach, is that this episode should not be, we should not end it here because you have just had this conversation. We should uh, we should announce it. We should speak to it. I don't know whether we should organize something or a campaign or what, just to enlighten people about that. We need to do something as African. We need to do something. Let this episode, it should not end here tonight. That me, Cousin Grace, and Coach Kali, they had a conversation, and this was really amazing because I believe that there is a man, that people who are out there who need this kind of information. So it's my responsibility, it's your responsibility. Even when you are tuned in tonight, I just want to say it's our responsibility as African people to step up, to move from our comfort zone, because everything that we have been learning, me as an individual, I don't see why you should learn about history. So what I'm learning from history, you know what, we need to be so radical. I'm really so inspired by China. China junior schools, they're learning how to, they're learning some dynamic things, dynamic formulas, dynamic systems. So we need to get to that point whereby we say enough is enough because it's not working for us. Why should I, if I want to learn abroad, why should the moment when I want to go and learn in America, when I get there, I have to start from scratch? Which means whatever the education, my degree, my PhD is not working. So it's our responsibility as individuals, as a team, as Africans to step out and work together. And I believe the moment when we work together, we're gonna produce some amazing results. So guys, it's really a great honor to have you tonight, and my time is gone. I just want to welcome Dumiso Ngoba. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining us tonight. And also, don't forget to share the broadcast. Please share the news that there is a great platform called Matters for Life reality talk show, which is hosted by SaneGrace Unlimited Edition. It's a great platform where we discuss realistic matters that are affecting the society and also the lives of individuals. We always say that #hard conversation, and we say hard conversations, they start with you. What are your feelings? What are your feelings? Because sometimes we just learn so that I can be a degree holder. And then what? It's not about that. The moment when you gather a formula, you need to produce. We need to produce. Education is all about gathering formulas so that you can be productive, so that you can have productivity. But then we cannot say you are productive if you are not producing results. So this is the mentality that we want to implement. This is the mentality that we want to encourage in our society, that we need to be smart thinkers and embrace whatever we are doing with so much focus, that the moment when we are given something that we feel like, no, it's not going to help me. No, no, no. Say thank you so much, Coach Kali, for joining us tonight. Is there anything that you want to say before we close tonight? Any encouragement that you want to say to the viewers, those who have joined us and those who are going to watch us later? Is there any encouragement, a word of wisdom, a word of knowledge that you would just want to drop before we leave the studio?
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm very humbled and honored to be part of this platform. What a wonderful way to discuss this controversial topic that we had today. And a word of encouragement that I just want to leave to everyone that who is on this live or who is joining us is that be proud to be African.
Wow.
Whatever you do, just be proud of where you come from and be proud of your language as well. I've come across people where they tend to shy away or they believe that oh no, I know this language, or I am, I know Setswana, or I know Zulu, or I know they tend to sort of like show a disinterest in where they've come from. Be proud of your background. Be proud of you because part of you plays plays a sort of like mechanism in you. That means that wherever you go, people will be actually be happy that you come from there. Take for instance, I would like to refer to Nelson Mandela. For instance, he was very proud. He was a good cadre. He showed pride in his roots, and now he's one of the most celebrated people in the world right now. So part of
Yeah.
being an African, or in fact making a change in terms of this educational system that we have today, you have to be proud of you as an African. Be proud of your language as well, and wherever you go, try to include these dynamics of saying that I can be a trailblazer. I am a go-getter. And what I'm doing as well is to make or believe or change a narrative or a paradigm shift to say, right here in Africa, I'll make, these people come to Africa to notice what I'm doing. Of course, if I go there, it's to be a plus for me. And one of the things that we have to take pride in, it's in our folk tales, it's in our drama, it's in our literature, it's in everything that we write, is African. Let's embrace that. Once we embrace that, that means the people out there would want to know why are these Africans relaxed in terms of, because I think one of the things the Western education system kind of like plays in our mind is, you know, going there, there's a certain picture or an image that there are pastures there. But in our own country, there is green pastures, there are resources, there are minerals, a lot of minerals, and we can earn money, we can even live lavishly, in luxury, living in luxury, because everything we need, we have here. Everything we need, I'll reiterate again, everything we need is here. We just need to find a way how we can extract it and sell it out there, because the West are not in their country. They are coming here because their resources. They've seen that they've seen the magnitude of what they can benefit. Look at Dubai, for instance. It was
Yeah.
just a sandy place. Now look at it. It's one of the amazing places that we can ever think of. That's the
Yeah.
same mentality that we need to have. That we have sand here. Let's make castles out of it. We need to have like a certain picture. Let's extract it from our mind and let it us build it into the ground, and you'll be amazed what it will do for you as a human being, as a society, as a nation. I think that's what I will leave everyone to just to just think about.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much, Coach. It's a great honor to host you tonight. It's Matters for Life reality talk show. And once again, I just want to appreciate each and every individual who managed to tune in tonight to be part of the reality talk show. I just want to say thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for your views. This is a great platform. We discuss realistic matters that are affecting the society and also the lives of individuals. This is your host. My name is called SaneGrace. I'm known as a transformational life coach, a keynote speaker, a leadership strategist, and also a podcaster. I just want to say, as you know, I just have a short announcement before I leave the studio. You knew, guys, that the few from last week. I think a few weeks ago, I've been announcing that I'll be hosting a reality talk show live at Job Theatre on the 4th of December. But unfortunately, because the president was addressing the nation few days ago, and it seems that the COVID variant is increasing in numbers. So we value your safety, we value your health. So guys, we'll keep on updating you. But one thing that I just want to say tonight is that at the moment the event has been postponed, and we'll keep on updating you. I just want to say I love you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you so much. I love you. And once again, thank you so much, Coach Kali. It's a great honor to have you tonight. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.